Let me take this opportunity, beloved, to greet you all in Jesus' name. I'm thrilled to share this important topic with you about the fact that Satan attacks families. I'm reminded of the fact that God designed a family to be a fabric of every society and a basic or primary ministry of the church. So no wonder the family was the first target that God targeted. The Bible in Psalms chapter 127 verse 1 says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it, they labor in vain." So I want to believe that God, in the bliss of the Garden of Eden, completed his creation by the creation of the first couple, Adam and Eve. So immediately after God completed his creation and placed Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, the devil started planning to attack the family. And I would like us to briefly unpack how the devil devised the strategy to destroy the first family. First of all, we are told that the devil took the form of a serpent and approached Eve. And when he approached Eve, he actually asked her a question, whether God said they should not eat of any tree that is in the Garden of Eden. And that is found in Genesis chapter 3, starting from verse 1. And Eve responded that they were given the permission to eat the trees, except the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Therefore, in turn, the devil said to Eve, God knew that if you ate this fruit, your eyes are going to be open, and you are going to be wise and be like God. So the first line of attack from the devil was to try to attack Eve to feel like she is not complete. There is something that is lacking in her. And Eve succumbed to that temptation and took the fruit, and she ate it and gave it to the husband. So that first round of attack, the devil won. How did he win? He poisoned the mind of Eve by making an insinuation about what God had said to them and imputing motives in God which was not true, that God did not want them to touch or to eat the fruit because they will be as wise as God and their eyes will be open. So the devil enticed them to disobey God. And that's how the devil attacks families. He knows that everything that God created was perfect. It was good. And it was designed in such a way that it will function to fulfill its basic purpose why God created it. So what the devil does is, once you give him an audience, he will distort the message that you have received from God. Because he knows that the message from God gives you the assurance that God designed everything for a purpose, and everything fulfills a specific purpose. So the devil entices us in the ongoing conversation between us and God. So then the devil plants a seed in our minds, and this seed will eventually bring division between a man and a woman. The Bible from the very beginning says that God created man and woman in his image. And it further says that we were wonderfully and meticulously made in the image of God. So the devil makes us to doubt our identity. And once we succumb to his temptation, then we suffer from identity crisis. And that identity crisis manifests itself in us taking a position as individual, as man and wife, of competing in a marriage relationship instead of us complementing each other. So once we start doubting ourselves and doubting our spouse and doubting their motives, we do what we call unilateral declaration of independence. And by doing that, we give the devil a foothold. In other words, we want to function in a marriage relationship as if we are alone. When we know that I have my wife or I have my husband. So the two of us make up a team. So the devil, through his strong influence, he can induce a couple to cooperate in disobeying God. That is precisely what he did with Adam and Eve when they listened to his conversation. So the first point I'd like to say, we should not allow the devil or give the devil an audience. Because whenever we give the devil an audience, the devil is going to pound on us and plant a bad seed in our mind. None of us, my beloved brethren, is immune to satanic or diabolic spirits that attacks us and cause us to succumb to sin. The devil can pounce on you or your spouse anytime because the devil is engaged in a spiritual warfare. So why is the devil attacking families? The devil is fully aware that strong families constitute a strong and healthy church. And strong families constitute a very strong society and a healthy and balanced society. But weak families, they constitute a weak church. So after God created everything that he made, and indeed it was good, according to Genesis chapter 1 verse 31. The devil took an aim and shot at the first couple to destroy what God had created. The reason being that marriage foreshadows the revelation of the mystery of God. The mystery of God which was revealed in the Bible. And that mystery is Christ and his beautiful bride, the church. If you read in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 31 to 32, the Apostle Paul writes, "For this reason a man will leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two will become one flesh." This is a profound mystery. I'm applying it, or I'm speaking concerning Christ and the church. Obviously, the devil would like to distort the blueprint. He would like to confuse humanity about the unfolding plan of God, or about the scheme of redemption that is found in the Bible. Since it entails the relationship between a husband and a wife, the devil will attack Christian families, because he knows that if he allows the Christian families to grow, they are going to be a strong launching pad for the ministry. So the devil wants to destroy or dismantle a family. And he knows that if he succeeds in doing that, he has destroyed a generation, because the offspring of that family are going to be in trouble. So our ancestors, Adam and Eve, they succumbed to the attack of the devil. That's why God had to provide a way of escape. And that way of escape was to offer them an exit out of the Garden of Eden so that they will not be tempted and eat the tree of life. Therefore, continue their lifestyle, which by now they are separated from God. They have disobeyed God, and continue it for eternity. So we must be aware of the strategies and the schemes of the devil. The devil knows that God appointed husbands to be the head of a family for a reason. Because God is the one who created the husbands. So God wired the husbands with a capacity to be able to build the superstructure that will hold the family together. And to complement that effort, God created a helper suitable for the man called woman or the wife, and equipped her with the ability for details, to be able to fill in the details and to bring about to perfection the whole plan of God. So sometimes when the devil attacks us, he wants us to neglect our role as husbands. He wants us to neglect our role as wives. And as a result, compete with our partners for the role that God has not given us. I know of men who confuse the younger generation because they cannot stand as men with backbone and lead the family and be able to take the decisions that are for the benefit of the family. I know of women who have already succumbed to the schemes of the devil, who will not accept to voluntarily arrange their lifestyle under the leadership of their husbands. So once the devil attacks the husband, attacks the wife, or attacks the couple, obviously the devil has put a crack, and a major crack, on the foundation of marriage. And offsprings that are going to come through that marriage are going to struggle, because you cannot be brought up by parents who are suffering from identity crisis and have a balanced self-esteem. You are going to have a lopsided self-esteem, either an exaggerated self-esteem or a very low self-esteem. Because children learn not only through communication, but they also learn through their parents by observing what their parents are doing. So as a church, we must constantly and consistently pray for our leaders, our leadership families. Let us bathe them in prayer, because they are the frontliners. Therefore, they are on the top list that is targeted by the devil. The devil would like to discourage families from conducting family devotions, and he will make them to be so overwhelmed and so much occupied with different things that they don't have time to be able to have a family devotion and pray together and encourage one another and build up the family, or so to speak, and feed the family with the spiritual food. So, when the home is messed up, it produces disobedient children and dysfunctional individuals, and children that are suffering from identity crisis. So the whole family structure now, it becomes very toxic, because the whole family structure becomes like a war zone where the children will not learn the basic instructions from their parents, where the parents are not in control, but the children are in control, where the parents are always arguing and are always quarreling and shouting at each other. The devil would have succeeded to create that confusion in a family. The other level at which the devil attacks family, marriage was created by God, and it was wonderful in the sight of God. But the devil, after he caused Adam and Eve to sin, now he caused marriage to have so many challenges. So sometimes the devil will attack the family through interception of communication. And once the devil can intercept your communication and distort your communication, whoever is trying to communicate, when you send the message, the devil will distort it. Then the person who is decoding the message, who is listening, he will misinterpret the message, therefore give a wrong feedback. The devil is very active, brethren, and alive, and he attacks individuals, he attacks families, he attacks husbands, he attacks wives, he attacks children. A family structure is the blueprint, as I earlier indicated, of the church. Because as the church, we are the spiritual family. We are actually the fulfillment of what God designed a family to do. Now, if at individual family levels, we are not able to teach our children, motivate them to read the Word of God, to know about God, when they grow up, they will depart from the way of the Lord. But if we train our children in the way in which they should go, when they grow up, they will not depart from the way of the Lord. So it's very important, brethren, for us to realize that the devil is targeting families because he knows that if the families can be functional, if the families can be healthy, if the families can maintain a balanced homeostasis, whereby the relationships in the family are well balanced, the devil knows that we are going to produce offsprings that are dedicated to God. So it is very, very important for us, brethren, to realize that in a family structure, we guard against the schemes and the plans of the devil to derail us from what we are assigned to do. It is my prayer, it is my hope that this lesson will motivate you as a family to check your family. But let us start with our own individual lives and our own individual commitment to the Lord, and see if we are fulfilling the role that God appointed us to do in a family. Before I conclude, I'd like to share with you a book that I wrote that will help you to appreciate the revelation of this mystery of God concerning marriage. It's entitled The Mystery of Marriage Revealed. If you can get a copy of this book, it will really guide you through the various forums and aspects of life that we need to align our marriages, our families with the will of God. May God bless you. Thank you.
Jesus. Yesu ni njao